I'm going to be on the Rams money line. I've written wait, stay disciplined. Next up is 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Seattle Seahawks at Minnesota Vikings. We're at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and 3 games left on this card. This one opened with Seattle at -1. They're now -2. This total opened up at 56, very high. It's now at 55.5. And by the way, Bebsie, what you were saying about the offensive holding was exactly what Loshak was talking about, expecting overs. And he was like, you must be cashing on overs when he saw my record. And I didn't have one over. I only had 2 totals, and there was a team total under and another under. But you guys are absolutely bang on with with less holding calls and overs cashing nonstop. Here we go, Seahawks, Vikings. This game's shaping up to be a beauty. Just 4,627 tickets in. 32% of the tickets are on the Vikings, 55% of the cash on the Vikings. Looks like Vikings has sharp cash. 72% of tickets on the under, 99% of cash on the under. So when we look at the Arizona Cardinals game and we look at the Minnesota Vikings game, we have completely different situations from the betting public. The betting public is all over the over in Arizona, Jacksonville at this point. This is just Tuesday. And they're all over the under in Seattle, Minnesota. Let's break it down. Seattle Seahawks come in off a 33-30 loss at home to the Titans. They had their 12-game win streak and home opener snapped. With 13:06 left in the fourth, they're up 30-16. They had 94.7% probability of winning. With 4:12 left, they had the ball at their own 32. Titans had the ball at their own 32. Seahawks had a 91.5% chance of winning. And something that we've been seeing from this Seahawks squad is that they look very good through 3 quarters, but when push comes to shove, they don't seem to make the plays. Russell Wilson, 22 of 31, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he did not look good in the fourth and overtime. Tyler Lockett, 8 catches for 178 yards, 1 touchdown. Freddie Swain, 5 catches for 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Seattle's rushing game struggled. Carson led the way with 13 carries for 31 yards. They ran 18 times for 77 yards. Bobby Wagner was unbelievable. 20 tackles, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. They got 8 hits on Tannehill. But their defense did not look good when it was needed most. Now, you can say a lot of that is with the Titans' offense. Derrick Henry wearing them down. Tennessee finished with 532 total yards, 345 in the second half in overtime. Seattle right tackle Brandon Shell left in the fourth quarter with an ankle injury. He's listed as questionable. Ethan Pocic, their center, was placed on the injured reserve Friday before the game. Vikings come in off a 34-33 heartbreaking loss at Arizona. The curse of Vikings kickers. I remember when these two teams met in the wildcard game. It got to be 9 years ago or so. When the Vikings didn't kick that, it was 10-9, and Vikings didn't get that field goal. It was one of the biggest swings.
Walsh, wasn't it?
Walsh, yeah, I think so. It was one of the biggest swings of my life in football. Because, of course, I was on the dumb money there in the Seahawks game, and I didn't deserve to get paid in full and to lose my shit. Joseph missed a 37-yard field goal wide right. Cousins was good, 22-32, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Shout out to our guy Billy Briz, who was all over KJ Osborne in our Sunday morning show. Best bet, he was all over it. He caught 5 passes for 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Jefferson and Thielen also caught touchdowns, but this 5th-round pick is changing defenses. They're not able to just focus on Jefferson and Thielen, and when they do, KJ Osborne makes moves. Dalvin Cook ran 22 times for 131 yards. Now, Minnesota, Anthony Barr with a knee injury, Everson Griffin with a concussion. With those 2 guys out of the lineup, this defense looks weak. In saying that, we have clearly got sharp money on the Vikings. Bebsie, Seahawks, Vikings, take it away.
I noticed you popped up Dennis Garcia's comment that you trust Wilson more than Cousins late in the game. And as much as it pains me to say that, I completely agree. Even though Cousins isn't that bad, I don't think there's – I just mentioned Derek Carr, but I don't think there's a quarterback who gets shit on more undeservingly than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is just good. Like he's not sensational, but he always winds up putting up good numbers. He's never been on an elite team by any stretch of the imagination. He has very good receivers now in Thielen and Jefferson, but that gets unfairly shit on. I get it. He's a dork. He ran out screaming, "You like that," and thought it was cool, but he just kind of looked like a numpty, which he is. He is a dork, and I don't like him, but he's a solid quarterback. Now, just getting that out of the way, I look at the way both of these teams lost their last games, and Seattle losing in overtime and to a field goal. The Vikings losing probably a tougher loss to a missed chip shot. But I think Seattle is more equipped to bounce back from that, especially with the injuries to Everson Griffin and Anthony Barr. Seattle is still a good football team. And Minnesota, almost beat the Arizona Cardinals, which I don't think the Cards are as good as the Seahawks. Bobby Wagner, I honestly thought he'd start kind of falling off. He looks incredible. He is so fun to watch. I hate the Seahawks, but man, do I love watching Bobby Wagner play. So for me, this is a double-up spot. I have no faith in the Minnesota Vikings right now. I like the Seahawks being able to bounce back here. First half, they're at -0.5. Full game, -2. This is a double-up spot for me on the Seahawks. And if you know how much I hate the Seahawks, you know how painful it is for me to do this, but this isn't about loyalty. This is about betting.
Wow, that's wild. So we know how many first halves end in ties. You can get the first half -0.5 at -102, but it would be prudent for us to check the money line for you. The money line is too expensive, -121. I mean, I think it might be too expensive, but that can be your call. Do you want -0.5 at -102 or something like that, or Seattle first half at -121 on the money line at Pinnacle?
No, give me the -0.5.
Okay, let's lock that in for Bebsie. Bebsie, this is a very confident look from you. See, double up spot. I believe it's your first double up of the year. Seahawks first half -0.5 at -102 available at Pinnacle. And then the Dirty Seabirds full game. Let's get this up here right now. Full game. And we have a -2 and we have a -1.5. Well, it's up to you. Do you want -1.5 at -115 at UWager, or a -2 at -104 at Pinnacle?
Considering how many tight games the Seahawks are in, I will take that half point.
-1.5, -115. That half point's costing you 11 cents, but it could go right down to the wire. Seahawks first half -0.5 -102. Seahawks full game -1.5 -115. And I find this game very difficult. No move for me at this point. Bebsie, we got to move on, and we've been, it's my fault. I could just sit here for hours upon hours, but this total is so high at 55.5. It's still at 56 at Pinnacle, and we have 72% tickets, 99% of the cash on the under. Do you agree with that?
Honestly, if you forced me to take a pick, I think I'd still take the over in this. I don't think either of these defenses is really equipped to stop the opposing offense.